Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Canned Air, your tribute to pop culture. I am Jeremy Colley.
And I'm Jack Doherty.
And joining us today, returning to the show, the official fourth member of the show. You know his name, you've seen him on the show many times before, but we've never had him on to talk about his his VHS and collectibles business called Blenheim Retro, which you should check out. We're going to put links below, social media links. I believe it's on Whatnot. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome back Joshua Bellis. Josh, thanks for being here, man.
Hey, guys. It's good to be back to talk about movies. A good excuse to talk about movies this time. That's my favorite.
Oh, any excuse is a good excuse,
Mm-hmm.
I think. Maybe I'd be wrong if I got handed a piss-poor excuse.
I'd love to see that excuse.
I would, too. The one that just makes my face turn, huh? And what
Maybe sometime in the show we'll be handed an excuse. This just in an excuse.
This proves to be an interesting episode. We'll see. We'll see. But before we talk with Josh all about his VHS, I don't even know what to call it, Josh. A company? What do you? Is it officially a company? What do we call it?
Well, it's not registered as an LLC or anything, so it's a fun side venture. It's a nice little umbrella to that covers my hobbies and interests.
There we go. So yeah, we're going to be talking about all that a little bit later, but before we do, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite movies that we owned on VHS when we were younger. And I know there might be some people listening who never lived within the age of the VHS and might just totally go lost on them. I don't know. I really don't know, but I would be willing to bet a great majority of our listeners and viewers were VHS owners. But what I thought I would do was when I started writing down these picks, guys, so many things came flooding to me other than just a movie I owned. You know what I mean? So I've got a few different little things VHS related, but excited to see what you guys got. And then we're going to turn our full attention once again over to Josh and talk again about Blenheim Retro. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Is that right?
No, you got it. You're nailing it.
I don't know. There's something about the way that word's spelled that just always messes with the head.
I agree, but I still picked it anyway.
It's weird.
Great marketing
hearing
move.
when I seeing it all the time. It's weird hearing it because you're like, oh, that's what it says, even though it's not like what does that say? I don't know. It's
Blenheim. There it is.
I don't think I ever attempted to try to pronounce it until I heard you say it. I just
no, that's the thing. Me either.
I give up. Fuck it. Yeah. I'm not even going to try.
And I'm like, yeah. And I always see it, and I always forget that it's you, Josh.
Yep, it's me the whole time.
Not anymore though, because I was
Joshua
not until
all
the last
along.
time we hung out. Yeah.
It was me, yes. And people that know me online as the Blenheim Retro, they just call me Blen. That's a new nickname that I have for a username.
Are we allowed to call you Blen?
If you want, I mean,
No, I don't want to.
Go for it.
Josh is so cumbersome. I'd
really rather not call you Blen. I just wanted to make sure you didn't expect it.
That's my alter ego. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to tweak it, make it my own somehow. I'll think about it. Maybe by the end.
Yeah, we'll work on it. We'll work on it.
But all right. Once again, since we're merging over mainly to YouTube, of course our audio format's still there, but we're not going to regale the audience with 5 to 10 minutes of socials at the top and at the bottom of the episode. So it's just going to be at the end. You can see below and above all the handles and the website. So check us out. Other than that, let's get to the episode, guys. Who wants to go first? Jack, kick us off. Favorite VHS memory?
Mine was, I'm trying to remember how it worked, how it all came about. But the movie was UHF, and I never did have it on VHS. But at one point it was on, I want to say it was on TV, and it had commercials. So I taped it on my VCR, and my dad's friend had 2 VCRs. So he was able to actually, I think I had him edit the commercials out or something like that. But I wanted him to do it on SLP setting, super long play. So
you get more tape out of it that way, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
But the tape that I had taped on was on EP or LP. I don't know which. It was opposite. So multiple times throughout the movie, because of that, something happened with the recording that there'd be the weird through the video.
Yeah. Where you can like see traces of what was there before you recorded over it, you mean?
Not so much. It just kind of distorted, and then the tracking would be off real heavy, but then it would clear back up and be fine. Just
That
one of
was
those
the
weird VHS
worst.
things.
Especially like when you were recording something that you could not be home for. It's like, okay, I hope to Christ. You know, you check the AM the PM and AM on the clock on your VCR to make damn sure you're recording at 8 PM and not 8 AM.
Oh, boy.
But you also had to make sure that tracking was adjusted, because even if it did
Yep.
record and you got home and turned that tape on, it could look like shit and you not want to watch it. But
that's the thing. I finally got it back, and I was so excited to watch it, and it was playing, looked fine. Then, like during the Rambo scene, that's when it started going haywire. And I was like, oh, but I mean, before he gets in the helicopter and blows everything up, it's back to normal, and it's
wow,
business as usual.
Close call.
Yeah.
My folks recorded the first Ghostbusters movie for me on VHS when I was a kid off of the television. And but I think I had seen that in the TV guide it was coming on, and I was like, "Oh, record this for me." And so I think they forgot until about halfway through the movie. Because the next day I was like, "So did you guys record it? Did you get it?" They're like, "Yep, sure do." And I hit play, and the movie started when they have Louis Tully at the firehouse, like examining him, and they can see the infrared, the beast in him, and he's talking about.
That's like halfway through the movie.
I know,
Yeah.
but I didn't know anything when I was a kid. I thought that's where the movie started.
Wow.
This is groundbreaking. They're really jumping us into the story here.
Yeah. I didn't care, when I was a kid, I guess. Not that I noticed it and didn't care, but I didn't, know how long the runtime was. It was longer than a 25-minute cartoon, so must be a movie, and I didn't care what was really happening as long as the guys were on the screen and they were fucking up ghosts or something. But yeah, it wasn't until years later that I finally saw that librarian ghost, and holy hell, man, that scared the hell out of me. But
yeah, that ghost scared me too. And like, I didn't see that until when I was a teenager, when I first saw Ghostbusters. And that kind of threw me for a loop, how scary moments of that were. Like even the dog scenes with the chasing him down the hallway, and then like he's like tortured by this thing and no one else sees it. Like, man, that's pretty spooky to be like chased by this creature and no one else can see it.
And it's, that's what made that movie work. And I think by the second movie, the popularity of the cartoon and everything kind of tapered with it, kind of the same way the second Ninja Turtles movie did. They really went for the cartoon on that one. But that first movie was the best balance of humor and horror, like horrifying. Like it was scary. Like when you were a kid, like you wanted to watch it, but I still had to like shield my face at certain points because it was legit scary. And I don't think a lot of these newer incarnations of the Ghostbusters really do that,
We could have been desensitized with a lot of the stuff, like all the Saw movies and then Annabelle.
I'm not going to Ghostbusters now looking for a legitimate scare, but I would be able to notice if something was like, okay, that's pretty, I guess in Afterlife, they just recycled Zool and the Gozer and the dogs. So those dogs are always kind of horrifying, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Gozer or fucking Vigo wasn't quite as scary as Gozer was.
No, just a bunch of slime. I mean, Nickelodeon desensitized us from slime. So, I mean, ooh, goo.
Yeah, right? All I need to do is get on an episode of Guts or Double Dare. All the slime I want.
All I got to do is say, I don't know.
Oh no, don't do it.
Man, that Nickelodeon slime though, it really was the coolest shit. Like you had to own it. Like I remember when they came out with Nickelodeon GAC.
Mm-hmm.
All different colors.
That was
of
a little
slime.
bit too old for the GAC fad.
Oh boy, I was on it. I made my parents take me to KB, and there was like some special thing that if you like saved remember how Kool-Aid pouch packets had like the little like 5 points, like Marlboro miles on them?
Yeah.
And you could save those up, and then they'd send you a free voucher to take to KB and get free GAC. And I went through all the process, and Hardest part was just getting my folks to take me there, but they eventually did.
I was indoctrination to start smoking.
Yeah, right. The Kool-Aid points, you mean? Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think I ever bought anything with cigarette points when I was a smoker. I think there was a time I did collect them, but I never traded them in for a cool Marlboro T-shirt or a windbreaker jacket.
Not me. I got an ashtray, but it was like a free gift for
Okay.
Camel or something like that. But yeah, I remember trying to. It was kind of like the McDonald's thing, playing Monopoly. You try to play, but you really
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
See, I say bottle caps from Jones Soda, and it's a pretty cool prize. Some good swag on there. Yeah.
There you go. I remember
Mhm.
back in the day, Mountain Dew and Pepsi used to have, like when iPod first came out, you could get a cap that had a code on the inside of it, and you can get on iTunes, type the code in, and get one free
Yes.
song.
Or like in-game currency or something for games and stuff.
That's a little before.
Yeah, that didn't happen then. That's when
That was
iPods
later.
and shuffles were around
Yeah.
that Jeremy's talking.
Yep.
The Stone Ages.
Yeah. The before four.
Stoned?
Yeah.
I see.
All right, Josh, we are around to you. Favorite cigarettes?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to quickly bring it right back around to Jack. I don't know if you saw this, Jack. Look what I have right here. I have a copy of UHF recorded onto VHS. I
Oh,
got
wow.
this for $1 online, and someone recorded this off of like a pay-per-view. Like I think in the 90s, I think is when they recorded this. But yeah, it's got no commercials, which is a bummer because when you're looking for tapes that are recorded, you kind of hope for commercials, which is funny because that's so counterintuitive.
Right.
They sold VCRs that got cut out the commercials automatically. So it's like, no.
What?
No, now we want them because they like could detect when like there was like a break.
When
You didn't know that?
Cut out I don't know when those came out, but I've seen VCRs that have that ability. Like,
I never had one. I was never
Not
fortunate
back when
enough.
I was banging, they didn't have them.
that's fancy shit, right? Yeah, that must have been like right near the end, maybe like in the 2000s on, maybe the last couple of years. But
Wow.
No, as a matter of fact, that's why I had my dad's friend do that because his VCR did do that.
Mhm.
So I was like, yeah, you put it in there and you got blah, 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 and I'll cut out the commercials. Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
yeah, man.
It's why.
No, I was doing it the
Today
hard
it's
way,
a tragedy.
man. I was sitting there with the remote, having to stay alert.
I would have done that too if I was recording stuff. The only thing I ever recorded on tape was episodes of Family's Funniest Home Videos, or
Wow.
America's.
Thank you, America's Funniest Home Videos. Yes,
TikTok
that's what I used to
before
record.
TikTok.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pre-memes. Yeah. All right, my pick for VHS. The one I watched the most as a kid growing up was Milo and Otis on
Oh my
VHS.
God.
Wow.
Oh, in fact, hold on one sec. Hold on.
Yeah, I definitely watched that one.
I think I watched that once. It was just on TV though. That wasn't grounds for having a VHS to rewatch.
Oh my
Milo and
God,
Otis.
he owns a copy.
Jeez.
Actually, I have 4 copies of it because they're
What?
really cheap. And this
Do
is
you
one
know
that
why
I plan
they're
on
so cheap?
customizing at some point. I do know. I know the story behind the movie now. Changes things a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
What's the story?
The kitten and puppy you come to care for in that story, by
Yeah.
the end, are not the same kitten and puppy. The ones that you fell in love with had been long dead
After
by
the first
the end
20
of production.
minutes, it's probably a different cat.
Wait, what?
Okay. So the footage for this film, as we know it in good old America, was started in Japan as some other strange tale about a cat and a dog discovering nature or something, and it was a little twisted, a little weird, and it was made in Japan, and gosh, it was like in the early 1900s, like 1940s, I think.
Wait,
almost
what?
at 1900s. It was early. It was old, or was it the 70s?
Milo and Otis?
Yeah, no, it existed as a Japanese production before the American production, and it was done with like no.
Was this done by
animal
Saban?
ethics. I honestly don't know exactly.
Hang on.
Before
got
the
my
Power
phone.
Rangers?
Yeah, and like at some point, an American studio got a hold of that footage, like, oh, we can do something with that. And then they hired a narrator who I'm forgetting who the narrator was, but they came in and just wrote a whole new story over it, edited all the footage to be like this little fun romping adventure. But yeah, no, Jeremy's saying is right. When you see the pug fight the bear, yeah, they actually just tossed a pug in with a bear. And when you see the cat go down a waterfall, yeah, they put a cat in a box and sent it down a waterfall. Like,
no, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
if they needed one of the animals to limp, they would break the arm of the animal so it would limp for a shot.
Yeah.
They killed a lot of animals to make that.
Yep.
In Japan, though.
In Japan.
Doesn't
But
matter
then
where it's at.
But then they took the footage and turned it into a heartwarming tale that I loved as a kid. I loved this movie. I watched it so many
fucking
times.
4 copies in Buffalo, New York. You probably have more than anyone else does in the world.
I think it's a testament to filmmaking that you can take something like that and twist it into something so heartwarming and stands the test of time. If I could erase that from my memory, I might be living a happier life. But
I wonder how much money they made on that movie. Just all they did is just reproduce it.
I'm sure they made a nice little chunk of money. That was a fairly popular film when that came out. I remember it coming out.
Who was it narrated by?
Look it up.
Josh couldn't
I'm looking it up.
It was someone popular though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think you're thinking of Homeward Bound. That was like Michael J. Fox and
I think that's what it is. Well, Milo noticed did they talk? Or was it just narrated, right?
Just narration. Okay, originally released in Japan. Okay, 1986. I was totally off. 1989 in the U.S. And originally narrated by Shigeru Tsuki, but then Dudley Moore. Dudley Moore.
That's it. Okay, that's right.
Yup.
That rings some bells.
Yeah, I remember that movie coming out around the same time that The Land Before Time did, because I was big into that one too when it came out.
So it made $104 million in Japan/US combined, I guess, and then sold 12 million tickets total. So there's the stats.
All profit.
That's my problematic.
Yeah, they don't have any dogs or cats to pay off.
Exactly. All the profits. Anyway,
how horrible.
That was probably food. That was probably craft services.
Oh no!
Okay.
No.
That might
Moving
be
on.
Getting cut out. Yeah, that's a little. That's a little much for even canned air, I think.
Sorry.
My gosh. It's funny that you said it though. So props for being bold to make that joke. But
tell Katie hello.
Yeah.
They say hello, Katie. Here, show them the pet here. Screen time for the boy.
The horny toad?
Yeah, let's make him a YouTube star.
The bearded dragon.
Bearded dragon, that's right. Not horny toad.
Say hi, Gil. No animal mistreatment here. Dudley Moore does not do your narration. That's a good thing, buddy, right?
So if we have to make a bearded dragon movie...
like small scale, just like set up like a little diorama, have him crawl around and do like Godzilla.
But the bearded dragon in the movie, I'm imagining, doesn't have a tail, so it'll grow.
The show
back.
must
It's
go
a fucking
on.
Lizard.
Yeah,
there needs to be explosions. I'm thinking fireworks.
He's got to fight a bear and he's got to go down a waterfall.
How armored are they?
Let's find out.
Oh God.
All
Crazy
right.
times.
You guys talk about recording things on tape. The thing I recorded more than anything and still have all of, Jack, I know you already might know, Josh, The Simpsons. Having the realization that you can record television was huge for me. I first realized that on a Saturday morning during Pee-wee's Playhouse. And so I started making a Pee-wee's Playhouse tape that I played until it wouldn't play anymore. But yeah, as I got older than The Simpsons, I still have close to 30 VHS tapes that are just front to back Simpsons. In no particular order. Not all of them are commercial cut, but
labeled
for what I could do. What?
Labeled?
Oh yeah. I mean, it just says like Simpsons 5, Simpsons 6. It doesn't say what episodes are on there. It didn't have to.
Doesn't matter.
You knew.
It was up here. Not anymore, but and then you talk about the two VCRs being hooked up together. I was always playing. As soon as we got a camcorder, I was about it. Like anytime Dad wasn't looking, I was taking that thing and making something with it. When we go to my friend's house, I'd take it and we'd get there and like, you want to play? I'm like, no, we're not fucking playing. I got scripts for you. We're filming something. Go sit over there.
We're working.
You're there and you're there.
Yeah. And which is one of those tapes, Josh, that I was talking to you about that I want to get converted digitally if possible.
Yes.
But another thing I would do is I would put the camcorder on a tripod, and I always had like modeling clay, and I wanted to try stop motion. So I would make a figure, stand him up, I would start counting out loud as I hit record on the camcorder, and I'd count to about 7 or 8. Then I'd watch the tape and listen for like what number I'm on when the tape actually starts versus from when I hit the button. That way I could time it exactly, So hit record, count 1, 2, 3, hit stop. You get a quick flash of a scene. So I made a movie of this claymation guy's head getting kicked off and all kinds of neat stuff, but it was awesome. hard work. But anyway, going back to having two VCRs, I would hook that camcorder up to our VCR. And then I would go to Blockbuster or one of those places and rent movies, bring them home and rip them to other VHS tapes and then take them back.
Yeah, most blank tapes you can buy now because people will buy them to record on again, and mostly they exist with recordings on them. They're almost always like someone records a pay-per-view, or you can tell that it's like a boot off of a Blockbuster tape or something.
Well, I was just talking the other day about this, and I'm sure they still do, but like Dish Network and stuff, I remember like there would be a couple times a year where you get 2 weeks of HBO and Cinemax and all those kind of channels for free for a week. So anytime that happened, I would go to the store, buy a stack of VHS, and then sit there and go through the TV guide and then set the VCR accordingly, Didn't have to worry about commercials with those.
Mm-hmm.
Man, those are the days. That's how I got.
Nowadays, you wish.
That's how I saw. This is what brought it up. The other day, the movie Slums of Beverly Hills came on, and I was like, I have got to watch this movie. I haven't seen it in so many years. That's one of those films I did that with.
Always wanted to watch, but never seen that one. Yeah.
Oh, it's a good film.
We just watched Mallrats for the first time the other night.
Fly,
first time.
Fly.
I know. Snoochie boochies. Like, oh my god.
Oh man, it was a time.
Biggity bam.
That was a time. It was fun. We had a fun time watching it.
How about the third nipple?
That was a trying time among times. You learn a lot in that moment, and it's hard to look away. Much like the characters in the movie, it's like I can't look away.
Did Katie get upset that you were looking at boobs and be like, "Do you wish I had a third nipple?"
No, she also was like, "What the hell?" We were both like, "Geez, they're really milking this, aren't they? Like, they're not cutting away. Just keep showing it." Like, okay, all right.
It was a mystical nipple. It had power.
It saw things.
Mm-hmm.
It looked back. Exactly.
I don't think I officially chose a movie though.
Yeah. What was your movie?
Well, this isn't so much a movie. It's just something that was so awesome. It made me feel fucking official back in the day. Do we remember Nintendo Power magazine?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you were a member with them, occasionally, every once in a great while, something in the mail would come other than a magazine. Not very often, though. Not enough to keep an eye out for anything. One day, a VHS showed up in the mail, and it was in a cardboard sleeve that just had like palm tree leaves all over it, tropical leaves all over it. And it was addressed to me, and it said Nintendo of America. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Who knew? It didn't matter. It said Nintendo. Nintendo sent me something. That was big shit. So I rushed upstairs, took the tape out and put it in the VCR. Now there's only, when you look at a VHS tape, you can see a nice chunk of tape on the reel. There was only like a couple centimeters. So I'm like, okay, this is what? This looks to stand to be only 10, 15 minutes long. And when you put it in, there was this like Wish.com version of Pauly Shore who was taking you around Nintendo of America headquarters. And what they were there doing was showing you the new top secret game that was about to come out that was going to revolutionize the Super Nintendo, which was Donkey Kong Country. And I still have it. I think I have a duplicate of it too. If I can find it, it's yours.
I've seen people sell those on whatnot and online. They go for a decent amount of money. People like really look for those Nintendo Power VHS, and that specific Donkey Kong one I've definitely seen around. I think I saw it sell for like $30, which is decently high for a tape.
Shit, I could buy a house if I sold that thing.
$30, yeah.
No, if I can find them both, I'll give you one if you want it.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I used to watch it. That'd be just cool. I love tapes that are, or I've been really enjoying finding tapes that are really unique and just very niche.
Oh, this is pretty
random stuff.
But it was so cool. Like even after I watched it, I was like, okay, that guy was kind of annoying, but I'm gonna watch it again. You know, I watched it over and over. Watched it quite a bit.
Yeah, what's special?
Strictly for game footage.
Yeah, it was just very neat. Again, it made you feel official. But all right, where are we at? We've got 30 minutes already. God damn. Okay, let's go through some quick picks again. Just quick
for me,
picks before we
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That movie, I watched that so many times that I can, along with it, recite probably every line.
That's how Half-Baked was for me back in the day. I remember at one point I had seen it so many times. I sat down and I recited the whole movie from front to back. I'd seen it that many times.
Wow.
Yeah. It's such a great feat. And I think it deserves bragging rights. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, it's a great feat, go like to only you, like only me. You know what I mean?
Special skills on my resume. I can recite Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I was going to say that goes on your lifetime achievement list, like movies memorized, like 5. Yeah, it has like lists.
How many movies did you memorize? None. Oh,
you're at the gates of heaven, and he's just like, all right. Start reciting it. Half-Baked, go.
God just comes to the back of the line and grabs you and goes, come on, you don't have to wait with them. Come with me.
You're one of the special line.
Oh,
that's
boy.
awesome.
Any other?
Oh, yeah. Jack, what else you got?
The trilogy in the THX box set of Star Wars.
Oh,
before
wow.
the special edition.
I remember those because they had like one of them had half of a stormtrooper's face, one had half of Vader's face, and another one had half of Yoda's face, right?
Well, no, this one's like gold and black. And it's got the sleeve that comes out of the top. I haven't opened it for so long. It might be like that.
I think
I gotta check those tapes, make sure there's no mold in there.
Yeah, I gotta check.
Yeah, I'm guessing a good majority of my VHS are probably just gonna have to be thrown away when the day comes, but I don't know.
People have been making devices to get mold out of tapes, and your old moldy tapes can be saved more easily than it would normally have been.
Or I can just give them to Josh.
Or you give them to me, and I'll figure it out for you.
No, I mean you can just have them.
you don't want these back? No. My apartment's only so big.
I scraped all the crusty mold off of them.
Dump truck backs up, dumps a bunch of tapes in Josh's front.
Your apartment's only so big. How many tapes do you think I have?
I'm
filling your kitchen?
It's within reason because the storage, there's only so much storage that I can comfortably
I wouldn't expect you to
accommodate.
keep them and cherish them and love them. I mean, you can fucking throw them away. I don't give a fuck. I just thought...
I'll digitize them, send you the file. How about that? There you go.
It's not about me. I was
send
trying
the tape
to be
back
nice.
to you.
I don't need the files.
Well, if it's like a cherished memory,
my gesture is going completely unnoticed here. I give up. I give up.
Oh,
he'll digitize it and send it all back to you, so you can keep your own trash. Don't pawn it off on him.
I could it'd be easier for me to throw them away than to give them to Josh. I'm not trying to pawn trash. I know he has a love and appreciation for VHS.
Well, let me just clarify. I do appreciate the gesture of you wanting to give me stuff.
It would seem I was wrong.
Especially that I've expressed my interest in VHS nowadays. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, do you?
Yeah. Well, hey, I got a couple other picks here. I'm going to keep this moving along because this is going a little awkward. The other two movies that stick out on my mind as important VHS tapes for me were 98 Godzilla with the Matthew Broderick, and then Gladiator on VHS.
He said
Those were two.
the Matthew Broderick. Not
The
just with
Matthew Broderick.
the Matthew
Did
Broderick.
I say the?
You did. And you both
All right, well.
brought Matthew Broderick
Oh,
films
that's very
to
true.
the table.
But mine
Very
was
true.
just Matthew Broderick. He didn't get the added
It
until
wasn't
later on.
yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had the car accident. No, I don't know when that happened. Anyway, those two movies were great, and I those were like movies that kind of sparked my love of movies, because before then I was just watching stuff like Milo and Otis, Iron. It was all kids films. Like,
Snuff films,
Based off animal cruelty.
no,
Faces of Death.
no, ignorance. My small child mind. I'm not going to watch those. I'm not going to watch anything like that because, gore. I don't do gore. Anyway, yeah, but watching Gladiator and Godzilla at my grandma's house, because they happen to have copies of those two tapes, which are like two of the most common tapes you'll find. They happen to have them. I watched them. It was just like mind blowing. Like I watched them alone, off in some corner of the house. It's like, all right, go watch a movie. You know, babysitting with the TV, and I was just like glued to it. Like, wow, movies can make me freak out, like be scary, but also engaging at the same time. Like, all right, I got to watch more of these things.
Yeah, the last time I saw that Godzilla film was in the theater. And I just remember not being able to get over the fact that this, Godzilla's so fucking big, but then laid eggs all throughout Madison Square Garden without fucking
I didn't
it up.
notice.
I'm like, so like the whole movie, I'm thinking, did he like snake his way through this building without wrecking anything and just like spit eggs out? And like, again, does this insinuate that Godzilla's female?
Yes. Godzilla is female in that movie. Well,
So-
it's like it is female, and there's no other male, but life finds a way, more or less. And it is
Malcolm
able to,
Lund taught us
There
about
it
that
is.
way before.
yes, exactly. And
There it is.
that exactly. And I love that movie. That's my favorite Godzilla. I haven't seen that many Godzilla movies though. So of the ones that I've seen, that one is my favorite. I just love that it does not take itself too seriously. And it's just fun. It's
Sure.
just fun.
Doesn't even look like Godzilla.
No.
No, it had one hell of an underbite, huh?
Yeah. Still cool
Like,
looking.
Well, they
That's
involved
my
after
least
like a
favorite Godzilla.
mutated Godzilla or mutated iguana or something was like
Right. Yeah,
the thought
that's
process.
I saw what they were trying to
Very
do.
90s.
Yeah.
Very much.
Not my Godzilla.
I started watching -1 the other day, but I haven't finished it yet. And I didn't stop it because I was disinterested. I was at work, so I had stuff to do. But
That one's
Is
cool.
that streaming?
It's a cool one.
Is that streaming on something right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, it's on
on,
Netflix.
is it
It's on Netflix. Yep.
Okay. Noted.
But I'm going
Yeah, because I was
watching
excited
that
that it
soon.
was on there, and I really had to search to find it, which was kind of disappointing being as big of a movie as it was. And I wasn't the only one. I saw a lot of people were having the same issue.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would think being a new release and as big as it was in the theaters that it would have been right on the main splash page. Nope.
Also, I have this sitting over here, Jeremy.
Oh, I've got one of those.
You might. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm sure you have one of these.
I do.
But yeah,
Which
find
which episode is it?
it's got 3 and 5 on it. 3 and 5 separately.
Not through 5?
Of the Treehouse of Horror.
Oh.
Mhm.
Well, I think they that cassette came in a box set with like 2 or 3 others, and I think between the 3
Oh, did it?
they were oddly numbered, but yeah, those were the first ways you could actually buy Simpson episodes, were those tapes, and it sucked because they only had a few of them on there. And the ones that came right before those were only like the first season of The Simpsons, first few episodes of the first season, so they were like rudimentary compared to what you were watching currently on TV, you know. But when it's all you can get, that's the same way with South Park. I had a bunch of South Park season 1 VHS, and those things were so fucking funny because when you put them in, there would be, and you can watch these on YouTube now. Before every episode, there'd be a fireside chat with Trey and Matt. They'd be sitting there in cheesy sweaters, like smiling real
I think
big
I
and
remember
cheesy.
those.
and they'd be like petting the dog, and like it'd be a German Shepherd, and then the camera would cut to Matt, and would it come back?
It'd be a
Saint
different-
Bernard, and then it'd come back again and be a Chihuahua. It's just fucking stupid. Oh my
Nice.
God, they were funnier than hell though. And one movie I have to mention. I acquired this when a place in Bell Fountain was going out of business called Video Star, which is essentially just a Blockbuster. And when they were going on out of business, they sold everything. You know, you had like a month to go in there and buy shit up for really cheap. And I got Norm Macdonald's Dirty Work. You guys ever see that?
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I've seen so many clips of it, and every clip I see makes me laugh. So like, I need to watch.
Oh,
this
it's
at some
funnier.
point.
You might have heard Jeremy talk about it before.
It's quite possible. It's quite possible. But one thing about that film that really stands out to me too, or that VHS rather, is that, you know, there's been a lot of talk of Perry Caravello and like Windy City Heat as of late. That was the very first place I ever heard of that. The trailer on that VHS before the movie started was for Windy City Heat on DVD.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So, you know, watching that movie so many times, I saw that trailer so many times, and then didn't think about it for years until we met Don Flasterstein in 2011, 2012, and then he reminded me of it, and that's what got the ball rolling. But yeah, I still have that VHS somewhere. It's crazy though, you know, when that place went out of business, when the Family Video, if all those stores went out of business, they were open for like one more month selling off their inventory. But I remember when Blockbuster closed, it was like they vanished overnight. Like if you had a tape out, you took it back the next day to return it, it was literally just an empty store. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they just packed up and dipped versus the other places that were trying to, you know, make some money because they were closing.
They probably took that inventory and spread it amongst the other stores that were still open or something, you know, where these other stores probably, I don't know about Family Video, but it was creepy. It was almost like it had never been there at all. You know what I mean? Because we had a tape out when ours disappeared. And we took it back the next day and like, what the I guess we own this now, you know?
You dig a little hole and you just bury the tape and you cover it up.
Well,
you live here now, buddy.
The tape return slot was still there, but it was open. But I was like, well, if we put this movie in here, it's just going to be left in a vacant building. Like, fuck it, it's ours, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I would have kept it. And when Family Video officially went out, I went out and went to the local one in Columbus. I think it was the one in Westerville, I think is the one I went to. And it was, for like one day, like the day that I heard the news that they were closing, they were like selling all their stuff and like they were not going to be open another day. So it was like one day after they made the announcement, that was it. And they were selling all kinds of stuff.
What if you had gone to Blockbuster and got a time travel movie and then the next day came to return it and the Blockbuster's gone? You're just like, what the hell?
Oh my God. And if you were stoned when you watched it, you're like, was that real?
Was that a movie?
Where am I?
Where did I even get this from? Did I get this from here?
Those days were
tape
fun,
is gone.
Man. Those days were fun. Does anything like that? I mean, you can go to like a Play It, Trade It, you know, and kind of not quite the same feeling. You know, you're just going through people's garbage, but you know, at a Blockbuster or at a Video Star, whatever, my Family Video was really good at this too, you know, making the inside of that place feel like the lobby of a movie theater almost. You know what I mean? Putting up like the light up movie posters, the take home popcorn, the fucking snacks, toys, all kinds of neat shit. That place was awesome.
The whole like resurgence and nostalgia for VHS and movies in the 80s and all that stuff, that's kind of brought back up some interest. And there are some businesses that have opened where they're trying to recreate that feel, bring back the video store vibe, although it is mostly secondhand tapes because there's not many new tapes. There's some companies that are making new tapes. And actually recently Walmart had a VHS release on its shelves for Terrifier 2.
Oh shit!
You guys are familiar with those movies? Yeah, it was like released with a bunch of other horror collectibles and action figures and dioramas and stuff like that, just like kind of collector's stuff. But they did release a movie on VHS, and it was like a was a big deal. In the circles that I've become involved with in the VHS world, people were freaking out. Like it was $30 at Walmart, and then they would get resold for 80 or more, like immediately resold.
Wow.
They were like sold out
so
instantaneously.
Is there a resurgence then of like music cassettes too, instead of just video cassettes?
Yeah. In the indie music scene for sure, like on Bandcamp, because I follow a couple different artists on Bandcamp, and a lot of them, they'll be like someone like myself, perhaps, like who is recording things on tape, offering that as a service or digitizing. Someone like that might say, hey, band who, has a smaller following, but, is kind of niche. Do you want to be, I can do like a run of like 50 cassettes for you guys. I can record them. You can sell them to your fans. So there's a number of artists who I follow who, hey, new album out, get it on, the SoundCloud, whatever, Apple Music, or hey, you can buy a vinyl and a cassette tape, And those often have really cool prints on them. They'll make them like the clear with like a color or like they'll, go all out and make it kind of like a little art piece, a little collectible thing.
The ones in the 90s that would come out that, started kind of breaking the mold were blue. I mean, they were still in that clear plastic, but they had like a blue paint on them and like white text. I always loved those. I think those were the Warner Brother releases. But what's weird is, there's like a vinyl and a cassette resurgence and nostalgia, bringing that back, but you don't see fucking anyone talking about 8-tracks. They glossed right over that, didn't they?
And that sucks because 8-tracks, you can go to each song, not like a tape where you had to sit there and fast forward and hope you can go past it because then you got to rewind.
You know what I would do is take like something sharp, and then I would do this on the school bus all the time with my cassettes. When a song would end, I'd take it out and then like wherever the tape was, make a little scratch line on it. That way, like when I have the tape in the Walkman, I could fast forward it, and when I see the tape hit that mark, I know I'm right on my song.
That's smart.
Yeah, I lived in that Walkman. I lived in it. I went through so
I just
many
pushed
Walkmans.
Rewind or fast forward just enough that it would speed it up so you could hear it.
Oh, so it was like it turned to chipmunk.
Yeah, pretty much,
Yeah.
but faster. So yeah, I don't think that was good for the tapes, though.
I actually have an 8-track sitting right over here. I'm going to grab it to show the people at home.
Ooh, what is it? I'm curious.
You'll see in
What do you
just
think
a
it is, Jack? Wait, any bets, Jack?
I want to
Dead?
say probably some kind. No, not Grateful Dead. Some kind of. I almost want to say country, but I think 60s or 70s rock.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right. So, I mean, first, let's look how yellow and grody this thing is. And
It's
look
weathered.
look at the old school moldy, gross tape in there. But yeah, this would go into your dash. What do you think this is?
That's what we were just talking. I said
We were just
probably. I want to say something country, but probably not. Probably something. Where'd you get it from?
I got it. Are we going to do 20 questions, 8-track edition?
Hey, that'd be kind of fun. Yeah.
Okay. I got it.
Let's figure it out.
I got it from a record store.
Got it. Well, can we know the year when you got it? Or
When
did
I
you
got
know,
this?
yeah. Was it, like, already out for a while?
2024.
Oh.
Yeah, I
This is
figured
like
that
past
was gonna be
April.
something new.
Okay.
I figured it was going to be this year. I thought
In that
Josh
case,
was
it's got
trying
to be
find out what this-
something. In that case, it's got to be something that you really like.
Yeah.
Does it?
So I would think so. I mean, like if I'm going to buy something that's on a cassette or VHS, it's probably going to be something that I'm interested
Something that he can't even listen to because he doesn't have an 8-track player, though.
It's true.
in. I mean, I'm Smashing Pumpkins. Huh?
I don't. I think 8-track was long gone by the time the Pumpkins came around. So no.
I'm thinking Fleetwood
What's
Mac.
that?
I don't know why.
Ooh, you're getting fairly close.
But yeah, I was going to say Tom Petty, but I don't
No.
think it would have been after. Or he'd have been more after.
My knee-jerk
Well,
guess was Grateful Dead.
No. But your guys are.
I knew that wasn't.
kind of the same wheelhouse. So are we giving up?
Yeah, I'll give up.
There's one
Yeah.
crucial detail here that you guys have wrong. I didn't buy it. I stole it.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
No. It was on record store day. Me and my buddy were going around town and they were giving out grab bags. And it was just random stuff from throughout the store. When I opened it, there was this 8-track in there, and it's the Bee Gees' greatest hits.
Hey.
Oh.
And I pulled it out, and I was like, thanks, I think.
Ooh.
What the fuck am I going to do with
Shouldn't
this?
have.
But so
At
yeah,
least, at least it's the greatest hits, so you do know some of the songs.
I know a couple of them on there. Yeah, How Deep Is Your Love is on there. What else? Night
Gotta be
Fever.
Staying
You Should
Alive.
Be
There you go, yeah.
Staying Alive's on
Yeah.
there. I mean, come on. It's again, greatest hits. 1975 through 79. Wow. And that's what you'd
And
see hanging out of your car dash as you were driving down the road,
Yes.
jamming to the Bee Gees.
I'll say I completely missed that for sure. I mean, by the time, I'll say I was born in 95. So I think by that time, 8-track was mostly out of use. Like
It was been mostly gone even like 10
Yeah.
years before that, maybe
Okay.
even longer. Like I only saw
I was born in
couple of them growing up.
76, and I saw one 8-track player, and it was my aunt's stereo that didn't use the 8-tracks. And I remember putting an 8-track in there one time.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever done.
Gotcha.
I only
I was
ever
like, this
saw
is a
one,
weird tape.
one time.
Click.
Yeah, my buddy's mom had a piece of shit van with an 8-track player, and she was sitting there telling me all about it. And this is an 8-track. I'm like, can we listen to it? She goes, no, it doesn't work.
Oh.
Oh, all right, cool.
I don't think
until
I've
you
ever
get a
seen one in
player,
a
you can
car.
use it as a coaster. Yeah.
Right. Well, Josh, let's we are getting on a tangent, which I love, but
Yeah.
for the sake of editing, you got to tell us about
Mhm.
Blenheim Retro. What started this, man? What made you want to start making custom, awesome looking VHS cases?
Yeah. So this was like I've always been into movies in different ways, and I've tried to make, I like having things that look cool on the shelf, and I would call myself an artistic kind of individual. I'm trying to I was looking for a new creative project to work on. As you know, like when I worked back with you guys, I was always making some random bullshit in the back of the shop. And it was like, I had tried to making custom like steelbook cases for movies to make my collection look cooler. I'd make like a little magnet for the front and back. And at some point I'd already amassed like a few different VHS tapes, like stuff I had collected from when I was a kid that I just held on to just because I'm kind of a hoarder in that way. But I had those. And then when we moved to Buffalo, and I had been buying some VHS tapes. Like I bought a lot on Facebook Marketplace that was like recorded tapes, and I thought they were going to be like off of TV, and it was all a bunch of movies. Like, oh, this is super cool.
How many did you get?
I was a box of like 60 tapes.
I thought you only had so
a
much
very heavy
room.
box. Exactly. I had the room for that, but not anymore after that. Yeah, I had those before we moved to Buffalo, but we moved to Buffalo, got my new job. That job did not work out, and I left. And then I was unemployed
remember
for
that,
like a
yeah.
month. I was doing DoorDash, and I had free time to myself that I didn't before. And I was like, you know what? I bet I could. Let's get creative with these tapes. Let's try to upcycle these somehow. I was like, well, what if I paint something on them? What if some of these are different colors? That'd be kind of cool. Let's put this with that. And then I realized there's a whole culture of shell swapping and kind of upcycling your tapes and making a cooler collection. Like, oh, this would be really fun. And then I was left with thinking, okay, is there any way I can make this somewhat of a profitable hobby that I can fund itself? Because I didn't have a regular employment until Franklin called back again, and then I got to do work for them. But in that meantime, I was trying to think of some way to make it profitable, and I found a guy on Facebook that had made a post about revitalizing the video store culture, and like he was collecting tapes, and I shot him a message saying, hey, that's super cool. I think what you're doing is awesome. I was trying to ask him questions, and he said he recommended I go to the Whatnot app, and there are a lot of people that buy and sell on there, and VHS is really making a comeback in that space. I was like, oh, well, you know what? I should check that out. Checked it out. Thought it was really cool. Kind of appealed to the live streaming I used to do back on Twitch and like in college. And so you go live on there, you sell your wares. And I thought, I want to be a part of this. So what the hell can I sell? So I had all these VHS tapes. I was already customizing some of them. I decided, you know what? Maybe I could sell these. Maybe people will want these in this community. And sure enough, they did. And I've been selling them since like October, like late September, October of last year.
Wow.
And
Seems
it's
like
been getting
longer
fun.
than that, but it isn't it?
No,
No.
not in that long. But it does feel like a long time. Yeah, and we've been in Buffalo for like close to a year, or definitely a year. By now, it's been a year.
God damn, it seems like it's been 3 years.
It does really just seem like it's been a long time.
It's like you
Since
never
you
even
left
lived
us.
here at all. Like you don't even look familiar anymore.
How did we meet you?
Yeah, who are you again?
How'd you get
How'd
this
you get
number?
here? How'd you get this link? Exactly. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I've I don't want to sound like I think that I've encouraged a number of different people to do the same thing on Whatnot, because there's a number of different sellers making custom tapes and being really creative, and we're kind of collaborating, and we'll swap tapes with each other. We'll sell each other whatever we find at like a thrift store. Like, I'm looking for a blue tape. Oh, I got one of those. I'll send it to you. Yeah, you send me one
Oh,
of those.
so you're
green
not
ones?
looking
All right,
for
cool.
like a specific title. You're like, I'm looking for a cassette, like the shell or the actual.
Both.
I see.
Mhm,
Just
yeah, because
odd colored cassettes and stuff like that.
yeah, as an example, like this Simpsons tape is gonna get a custom. I'm gonna swap out this yellow with part of a green tape, and then the body's gonna be black, and then I'm gonna like paint the windows to be kind of oozy or have like the little green flames in there. You know,
Mhm.
make it something special, kind of create a collector's item for this movie for someone who loves The Simpsons. And I was looking before the show. I've customized like almost 80, I think it's 78 different tapes at this point that I've made.
Wow.
And I make custom labels for them as well. And sometimes I'll paint on the shelves, or it'll just be a color swap. And
Keep
yeah.
an eye out.
Are they the actual movie?
Most of the stuff that I do, like 95% is the actual film with just the outside customized, but you can still pop it in the VCR and watch it. And that's like,
But you
that's a
don't
nice
like put your
draw.
like Blenheim retro like opening on the tape before the film starts. Like you don't put your own
Yeah.
signature. on it?
Pre-record it.
I don't. I have been.
I
I
made
do.
this movie.
It's me. I did this one. I do that. I made a. Let me go grab it real quick. The thing that you helped me make
Yeah.
the cover for.
Oh, that came out sweet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This Whatnot VHS highlights. This is because I've only been on Whatnot since late September, but like it's been long enough, and I've gotten to know a lot of the really cool people on there, and they're very passionate about movies and VHS and Betamax and Laserdisc and all the physical media and DVD and Blu-ray and all that. This is like a collection of vlogs from them talking about their collections, why they like to sell on the app, what they like about movies. And it's kind of like a mini documentary. It's like 42 minutes, but gathered all that together, stitched it together, and edited in clips from the movies that they're talking about. So it's kind of like you get like a nice collage of, there's like Star Trek people talking about Michael Jackson workout tapes. Oh, sorry. Michael Jackson and workout tapes, not Michael Jackson workout tapes. That would be really interesting, but not on the
Be a
tape.
workout, all right.
Exactly. But yeah, I put a little logo intro on that one.
Which looked really cool. That's why I asked. I was
Yeah,
being
that was
serious
fun.
when I asked that, because that did look really cool.
And I modeled that after a bunch of different ones I've seen. You can look up compilations on YouTube. People have like digitized all those old intros from all the studios. And
Oh, I remember them, man. As soon as I saw that,
cool.
it made me feel like that my second grade teacher just wheeled the TV in the room, because that was very
Yeah.
much the kind of stuff you would get.
mm-hmm.
It looked just like that. But it looked awesome. I liked it. Who did
It
that
was a
for
lot
you?
of
Did you
fun.
make that?
I did, yeah.
How'd you make that?
I
animation
found
and
the animation I made in Premiere with Adobe Premiere. I designed the graphic in Illustrator, like flat, and then I separated into pieces, and I put those pieces on Premiere, and I okay, this goes here at this point, this goes there, like just hand animated it. And I think
Josh has the good Adobe.
I guess. Fuck.
But I want Adobe. There's a whole thing with Adobe right now, but we won't talk about that. I have it now. That's the important part.
Adobe's a pain
Yeah.
in the ass, is what Adobe
Yes.
is.
I hope they get sued into oblivion, and I would not be unhappy if they stopped existing. But in the meantime, I'm going to
Temperamental
use their
shit program.
products. I'm going to use them because I have them and I know how they work. So,
Well, that's just it. You were kind of at its mercy, aren't we?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because it's still, as much as we bitch about it, it's still probably one of the better programs out there, right?
Yep. Hopefully, all the pressure going on right now forces them to change their ways a little bit. We can all have our hopes and dreams on that, but
Well, I think we all have a million different gripes with Adobe, so some of our wishes might get granted, some of ours might not.
Yeah, we'll all get a settlement.
Like, I don't know why Adobe can't fucking recognize a type of Arial text. It's the most basic fucking text in the world.
It's so...
Yep. Like Arial MT or something. And it just has to tell me all the time, oh, I'm ignorant to this. I'm ignorant to this. I was like, well, just... you're pissing me off. I'm getting mad now.
I do not recall this font. Download another. Sorry about that. Anyway.
All right. Anyway, though.
Yeah.
So, you on your handle, it says, like retro VHS and collectibles. Or what else are you doing other than VHS that falls in the realm of collectibles?
It is mostly just VHS at this point. When I added that tag, I wanted I would like... Well, it was an optimistic summary, and I make like art prints. I have them with me right now. I've made like little mini VHS magnets.
Ooh.
Those count as collectibles. I've made one diorama piece, which is from The Shining. I like 3D printed a little hedge maze.
Oh, neat.
And like the size of the spools, and I put that inside the tape, and then painted the outside and all that stuff. So, yeah, collectibles in that they're not movies you can watch, but they look nice on a shelf. And all of these are basically that anyway. You're probably just going to put them on the shelf and have it look nice. But if you want to, you can toss it in a VCR and actually watch the movie. That's
so you're going to make these for people? You make and sell those kind of things?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Made and sold a bunch.
The diorama thing?
Oh, I've sold one of those. And I've made a couple. And then I haven't made enough of the VHS magnets to actually sell them efficiently.
So collectibles are trickling out
in the works, and yeah, it's just
it's not like an entirely bold-faced lie. It's just kind of like a little
white lie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But it's a great marketing strategy. But I mean, eventually,
I didn't want to hamstring myself and be like just VHS, like Blenheim VHS. Like, well, what if I want to do something else with Blenheim? What if I want to do like audio
VHS
cassettes
and refurbished underwear?
Just add and more.
And more.
Yeah. You don't have to be so fucking specific.
Serious. Or
exactly. Etc. And beyond. There you go. Blenheim and beyond.
Like software, etc. You didn't know what you were going to get when you went in there besides software.
There you go.
All right. So, Josh, tell the listeners about the name, where it came from, because I did not know, nor I guess I wasn't super curious until I saw that video you were just holding up that you did with the I'm sorry, what was it called again? I can't remember the title.
Oh, it's the very title that rolls off the tongue. What Not VHS Highlights.
Off the tongue and into your heart, man.
Yeah.
But I that's when I learned kind of where you got the name for your channel, your what is it? Is it a channel?
Call it a brand, or like it's just brand. Like it's a nice it encapsulates the work I do. And if instead of just saying, oh, this is from me, Josh Bellis, I can say, oh, this is a Blenheim product. It sounds cooler, whatever.
Yeah, no.
Is this a Blenheim?
It's a Blenheim original. Oh my god! This is going right next to my Nintendo VHS.
This is an OG Blenheim, bro.
Blenheim, bro. That sounds like a South Park character at that point. But yeah, where the name came from, I was trying to think of a name because I wanted to give a name to this enterprise. Like, what do I call my little channel and whatnot? If I make a website, what do I call the website? Do I just call it Josh Bellis Designs? No, that needs something with more of a ring to it. I was trying to think of all these different things, and Katie suggested the name of our building that we live in. It's an old apartment building built from the early 1900s, like 1910 or whenever when it was built. But it has Blenheim on the front of the building in this like script carved into like a stonework.
Yeah, like a stone plaque, like right up on the middle of this building.
And
like
it's a big, tall building. It's very ominous and kind of scary looking, especially if you take a black and white photo from the right angle. It looks very creepy.
There's definitely a ghost in there. He might not be in your guys' unit, but there's a fucking ghost in there.
There's bats, there's ghosts. Yeah, they're up there.
Lizards.
But yeah. Well, yeah. What's that? What?
Those grave geckos.
Yeah, exactly.
But no,
dragons.
If you watch, is and if this isn't okay, I'll cut this out, Josh. Is it okay to tell them that tape you just held up can be watched on YouTube?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. So yeah, if you watch that tape, which is on YouTube, the one that Josh just held up, the whatnot, I already forget that charming name.
VHS highlights.
Whatnot VHS highlights. Yes.
Yeah.
You can see the building, and then you can see Josh walk through the front door up the stairs. You get a view. You get an idea of what the building looks like, and it is creepy because when I was talking to him about it, I'm like, okay, this is obviously the outside of your building, but when you're walking through the building, where's this footage come from? Is it like stock footage? Like, no, that's the building. I'm like, fuck.
Yep. That's it. And plus, in that clip, I edited it to look like the scene from Evil Dead with like the cameras like, whoa, like tracking through the forest and all that, and then
like
Ash.
Like a rabid dog's perspective, if it was to be
basically
wondering.
Good old Sam Raimi treatment.
So it makes it look extra creepy. But yes, that's on the building. We've looked it up. Can't find just from a Google search at least, where the name Blenheim comes from. Although there's a Blenheim estate in the UK somewhere. It's like some old English manor with the name Blenheim. So maybe some family members of that came to Buffalo and made a building and tried to do like an investment thing or something, and I don't know.
You should look at
yes.
Is it the library that has like public record kind of stuff? Because you should
that or the courthouse.
The courthouse
think would have some public records.
You should be able to go like see, not only stuff that's happened there, but how far back it truly dates and who built it. I would imagine there's
when I do that. Record. I am going to do that before we leave Buffalo. That is going to happen. I think when I do that, that'd be really cool to film some coverage of that, make a little VHS, maybe add that in the next intro for next one of these I make or something, or somehow incorporate that. That'd be pretty cool. And also definitely post that online so people know, because I'm sure I'm not the first person to have Googled this. And maybe I show up to the courthouse like, I'm looking for Blenheim. Like, oh, yeah. People ask about that all the time.
We got another one, Stan.
There. It's in the bees. Hey, it's over there.
Yeah.
But I am very curious. I would like to know.
When you guys do end up leaving Buffalo, are you gonna like rename your brand to like fucking Suburbs Retro or what?
Well, it's not going to be Gahanna Retro. I'll tell you that. Probably just keep the name. If I can hold on, I'll just keep the name. I mean, I think it's cool.
I know.
I'm attached to it now. Yeah.
I thought I could maybe come up with a barn burner joke with that, but I failed.
Well,
so
Gahanna Retro, Westerville Retro, Columbus Retro. I don't know. There's options.
I'll keep Blenheim.
What?
Yeah. I'd keep Blenheim.
I know. I know. I wasn't honestly suggesting he say it. I was just okay.
I recognize what.
Whatever he says, Josh. Don't change it. Whatever Jeremy says.
No, yeah, that was stupid. You felt stupid for saying it. Gosh, Blenheim stays. You're out. All right.
So, how do people then partake in your brand? How do people get their hands on your wares?
Well, I go live on the Whatnot app, which is an app for buying and selling. It's kind of like an online thrift store or like auction house. If someone, for example, has a large collection of VHS tapes, they have like their basement is full of them. They're trying to get rid of them. They open up their online marketplace. They say, hey, I'm going live at 7 p.m. on the 27th. And then they go live kind of like on Twitch or any live streaming service, and people can tune into that show on the app, and then you'll make listings in your store. Like, hey, I'm selling a VHS tape. It's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's in mint condition. It's in the packaging, and you sell it for however much you want.
Yeah.
Jack is on the app as well, and he's thinking, I gotta have this. And then you can bid on the item, and you can win it, and all that. And I sell my tapes just like that. I'll make a bunch of listings, and I usually do auctions. So sometimes they sell for more than I initially priced them for, and it's very, it's like a warm fuzzy feeling when someone's like fighting to actually get this custom that I made. That's like a limited edition. It's really unique. A lot of work goes into it. So it's basically art pieces, and it's like a more fun way to enjoy the movie. And instead of just sitting on your shelf, it can sit on your shelf and look pretty, and then you can also still watch it. So
get you
for people that are interested in that. Exactly. If you're in the VHS nostalgia zone that a lot of people are in, if you're not, don't worry about it. It's like, if you want something cool for the shelf, then you can snag one. But it's yeah, for people that enjoy VHS and like having something cool to put on the shelf, it's fun.
They're really
Yeah, it's
neat.
like-
And if people watching the video of this episode, I'm going to be
Mhm.
putting pictures of some of your work on the screen
yeah.
too, so they can see it. You people with the audio format, I'm sorry. I've been telling you, get over here.
You're gonna have to pull over and start
Oh,
clicking
yeah.
to do a search real quick.
Right?
And these are really cool looking. You would you're gonna be kicking yourself when you realize how cool these are, and you didn't come to the video to come
They
watch. it.
really are, though. They are cool.
It's true. That Jurassic
Yeah.
Park one is by far my fave.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah. I'm looking at them up on the shelf. Jurassic Park. I recently did some Home Alones. I've got a Matrix.
Ooh,
I've got one of Godzilla.
the one you did with TMNT 2, Secret of the Ooze, where the sleeve
Yes.
looks like the
Yes.
mutagen canister.
Yes, the canister.
That was tight.
Yep.
Yes. Oh yeah, and I've got other plans for more TMNT because those are really popular. And usually I'll try to customize tapes that are popular, and sometimes I just do ones that I love. Like I'm gonna do a Milo and Otis. No one wants that except me. That's fine. At the end of the day, if I was just doing this for myself and make my shelf look cooler, I'd be pretty happy.
Why don't you use
But
those
if-
Milo and Otis tapes to build a fucking altar in memoriam of all the fucking animals that died to give you
In the
this one little
arms
sweet
of the
nostalgic
angel.
memory?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I should. I'll paint this little portrait on there, and then have like little like halos around them. And, like,
There you
little,
Have a
Angel
couple,
wings.
couple candles on either side of it. Every time
Gone
you
but
walk
not
past
forgotten.
it.
Milo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Otis 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he has like a kneeler in front of the pray station, and he actually
Yeah.
has to pray for the soul of every Milo and every Otis.
One Hail Mary for every soul
every time
lost.
he walks
exactly.
past it.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Oh, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's all right. Whatever.
I'm
We're
kidding.
going together.
You're coming with me.
At least we won't be lonely.
Oh, hey, I listened to that last Patreon episode. You're all going to hell. Yeah.
It's I can't even
I don't
begin
remember.
to gauge what.
Yeah, I know
that
you don't
could be
remember.
From,
I don't
so.
Yeah. What did I say?
If you want to find out, go to Patreon.
Now there's
Canned
a
Air, a
commercial.
lot of great episodes on there. You will hear things, you will laugh, you will go, huh? And then yeah, it's great.
Okay,
It's a
Good.
good listen.
thank you. I hope you're
Mhm.
enjoying it. There might have been
I am.
like a tinge of sarcasm in there, but I think it was mostly genuine.
Well, it's a sarcasm in jest, but also indicating how funny
Endearing
some of those
sarcasm.
episodes are. Oh
Yeah.
yes,
Very, very cute sarcasm, if it were.
Yeah, you guys are
Sarcasm.
great. Yeah.
so good. Oh my god, yeah, totally worth a listen. Yeah, like that, yeah. Oh man.
Oh, I'm laughing
But
too
yeah.
much. My face is turning red, and I'm wearing a red shirt. This did not work out.
Yeah, it's the same shade now. But yeah, it's just fun. It's a fun hobby that I decided to try to make some money off of, and I found a community that is also into VHS, and the people I've gotten to know are so cool. And if I can get any of them to listen to this episode, which I might, I'll shout out to all they know who they are. They're really, really cool people, super friendly, people that just want to share. Like they will sell you a movie for dirt cheap because they know you want it for your collection. You do the same for them. It's like everyone's doing each other favors. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a cool
Mhm.
kind of collecting group to get into.
Oh yeah. There's a Discord group. We talk about it. Like, oh, I just found this copy at Goodwill. Oh, I just went to the bins and found this. Could you believe it? It's fun stuff.
That's really how it kind of was when we started podcasting. But then, like, as we got further into podcasting, these same people,
Mhm.
like, whose backs we were scratching and they were scratching ours, it's like, all right, now share your hard work with us. Like, the guest you got, now we
Mhm.
want. Like, what?
But yeah.
What?
I mean, I get, like, helping each other, like, and supporting each other, helping, you can advertise one of their episodes or, help them get the word out. But as far as, like, giving the work we've done to someone else,
I'm not going to
My
give you our
community-
content. Yeah.
not in that community.
Hey, you got
anymore.
to have that professionalism there. You gotta understand that that's how it works. Yeah.
No, and especially like, what if any of us had, and then like, this person we're a fan of, we had on the show, and they're like, "What? Are you giving my fucking email out to people?"
Yeah, you betray a little trust there, and you can't just hand out
Exactly.
phone numbers willy nilly.
Well, I mean, I got it from the internet, so they could have got
Wow.
it. That's just Get
Just
it?
innocent. Just a leak. Yeah. Oops. How'd you
I
get
thought
there?
you're on our side, Jack. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway, so you are on Instagram at
Yes.
Blenheim Retro, which again there will be a link for. And again on Whatnot. Anywhere else people should be checking you out?
At some point, I'm going to make a website. That'll probably be blenheimretro.com, but haven't done that yet. I want to be able to sell tapes, more custom tapes that are more bespoke, that are my recordings or things like this tape, like actual video projects that would
Originals.
probably more originals, exactly, and some modern. Or I've heard it called demaking. It's like a modern film put onto VHS. Films that came out, in the recent past, past when VHS would have been out, that I think would benefit from being on VHS. Yeah, and I've talked with you guys about some of those movies, like Vast of Night being one of them. I think that watching that on VHS has a certain feel. Yeah, it's a loss of quality, but if you're watching things on VHS, it's because one, you remember a VHS, I guess, and there's a nostalgia there, and also it's just got like, especially for horror, it kind of adds to the vibe. I mean, it's kind of like watching The Ring on VHS. That's spookier than just watching it on Netflix or whatever.
Is it?
It's like directors saying, we're going to
different.
film this on 38 millimeter, or 35 millimeter, whatever. Yeah, you get it. If you're a fan,
there's a charm.
Yeah.
There's like a warmth to it.
I saw a clip today online of just a quick clip of the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz dancing to whatever song he sang and danced to. If I Only Had a Heart. Was that what he sang? I don't remember.
That sounds right.
Anyway, I was bowled over at the restoration of this clip. Like it looked like it was filmed with modern technology. Him, the dog, the background, crystal fucking clear. It amazes me how they can take film footage that old and make it look like it was filmed with the technology we have today. It's incredible. And I'm sure a great amount of that is probably AI helping. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
But
and even like when you watch a movie, like The Shining is a good example for me. I have The Shining on Blu-ray, 4K, DVD, and VHS. The Blu-ray is amazing. Watching that movie on Blu-ray is probably a better viewing experience all around than watching it on VHS, which, the aspect ratio is cropped in. On the Blu-ray, it's widescreen. They've upscaled it. You can see way more of what's going on in the movie. But you watch it on VHS, maybe you're not watching the whole movie. You like put it on in the room, and it gives that feel. It's like more of a comfort than a pristine experience. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I really never looked for comfort or pristine experience with VHS. It was just it's the only thing we could do.
Exactly.
There was no DVDs. There was no computer. There was whatever's happened to be on antenna television and what you already own on tape. That was it.
I think that's it. That whole comfort aspect, that's a symptom of the whole like nostalgia resurgence. I think that's where it comes from. Because like I was comforted by VHS tapes when I was a kid, but that's all I had, and I wanted to watch something, and that's that's why I happened to watch them. If I had DVDs, I'd be watching those. If I had streaming, I'd be watching my iPad as a kid, whatever. But I had VHS. I'm older now. I remember that nostalgia makes me feel good. So.
Sure. No, I understand that. And
it's like going over to throwing a record on the old record player and playing.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was
the old reel-to-reel
video
projector, loading that bad boy up and watching old home movies while you're.
Well, he's talking about, watching them like watching The Ring on VHS, like how it hits differently, which I can totally get.
Oh yeah.
But it's like you said, the record player. It makes me think of people saying, "I love listening to this album on vinyl because the pop and the hiss and the stuff you get from listening through a turntable that you don't get, from digital." So I get that. I just, I don't know. I guess I'd never thought about that with VHS,
Yeah. And also kind of like with vinyl. With the vinyl, you're playing it out into the room in most cases. That becomes an experience in itself. Otherwise, it'd be on your headphones, just earpods, AirPods, whatever. That's like a very singular experience. But with a movie on a tape, you got to put it in a VCR, in a CRT, most likely. And that has a presence in the room, and the,
Oh
the
my
movie
God.
it's more. Oh yeah, definitely. Sometimes too much of a presence when they're big enough. But that's very different than a flat screen on your phone, on your computer for watching
Oh,
a
yeah.
movie. So
I remember our first VCR. We had it in 83, 84. So, this was an expensive piece of technology then.
Yeah.
I mean, these things were
God, yeah.
expensive. Movies, like a single movie on a VHS tape, was about $90. And
that's something
in
that
the
blew my
80s.
mind when I realized how much those were. Because growing up, I didn't know. I mean, we had one in the 90s, early 2000s. They were a little cheaper then, but I never realized how expensive they were when they first came out.
Yeah.
Like, holy
Well,
shit, you see
thank
the little
God for
sticker
the
on there.
movie rental stores that finally came along.
Yes.
They're what saved it, because nobody was paying that shit. And then they finally brought the price down. But it's ludicrous to think that they are ever that much. And I think Laserdisc was fucking expensive as hell too. But
Yeah.
anyway, the VCR we had was a top loader. So when you'd hit the eject button, this thing would boom, like shoot up real quick. This tray that your tape went in, and then you push down. And this was one of the first models that had a remote control, but it had a cord. So
it was probably tethered.
You'd have to plug it into the
Yeah.
back, run it across the room. And I remember when we got that, how like, I still remember as a little kid being like, can I try the remote? Can I try it now? Like, it was so
Yeah.
cool to be able to sit on the couch and control the VCR. I can't even tell you.
Yeah, and kids
So I'm not
today
going
don't
to.
get
That's why I
to
guess-
have that kind of experience. What's the
Modern
equivalent experience? I don't even know if there's like
Did you get
VR
clotheslined
or
by the
something?
cord at all? With it being stretched across the room?
No, it wasn't like taut, like between the VCR and the hand, like it was laying on the ground. Maybe possibly tripped over it, or like tripped it and pulled it out of somebody's hand. But I mean, it just had stop, play, fast forward, and rewind. That was it.
That's all you need.
But it
Yeah,
was, tracking. You had to get your
Oh,
fat ass
you
up.
had to
to
get your
track
ass,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it was still cool. But you see, I don't think that TV didn't have a remote. So if you wanted to change the channel, you still had to get up and
or change the volume. Yeah.
yep.
Turn it to channel 3 so you could watch the VCR.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
But when it comes to that VCR, remote, big pimping. I don't need to get up. Anyway.
Yeah. The VCR I have right now up in the living room does not have a remote. So I'm having to I have to walk back over and turn it. And the TV also doesn't have a remote.
Just because
How
they're
do you
both that
live?
old, or like it had a remote and you can't get, like you lost it.
I think the TV had a remote. When I got it, it didn't have one. And then the VCR might not have had a remote. It was definitely an older one, but I got it cheap. So hey,
Yeah.
can't be cheap when it comes. They're getting expensive too. People are like charging at least $50
Because of people
for a
like
working
you.
VCR.
Because people
I know.
like you have such erections for this old technology that they're
Yep.
like, they'll actually
It's-
pay for it.
It's a legitimate problem for people that are wanting to collect, because now they can't afford to collect because people are charging too much, and people are grading their VHS tapes like they would grade trading cards.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're putting them
Wow.
in these plastic boxes. Well, I got a 9.5 Ferris Bueller. Well, I'm going to ask $1,000 for it, and people are
And you're
asking
like,
people.
oh, well, I
Oh,
got
dude.
laid last night.
How's that feel? Exactly. People are like, people will go on Facebook Marketplace, with their stack of Disney VHS tapes. Like, I've got a gold mine here. Actually, you don't. Sorry,
Yeah.
but it's just not. It's just not worth what you think it is, until it is, and then we're screwed. Then
Yeah. I'm gonna
it'll come full
I
circle again.
always keep my eye out for an old tube television that just has the normal like coax in the back, and the two little screws that you would put the little transmitter in. Oh,
the
man.
channel changer deal. UHF to VHS.
It was such a pain. Not that I need to tell anybody, but the TV had the two knobs. I can't remember what they both did. One jumped between channels, but what did the second knob do?
It was UHF and VHFs.
There it
UHF and VHF. UHF had 10 channels, and VHF had like 80.
Oh, see, I don't think we got VHF.
dunk,
We were
dunk,
out in the
dunk.
sticks. Yeah, we got like 3 channels out there. But, on top of that also came the device, that big box that sat behind the TV that, Dad would be like, get behind the TV, like put some tinfoil on the rabbit ears and then turn the antenna toward the east. Like, yes, sir. Ding, 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 ding.
Well,
Okay,
it had
stop it there.
it didn't have all those channels. You could change it to that channel, but whatever local channels you had, I'm not saying. Like the top knob had like 12 channels that you could change it to,
right?
But not that you'd get anything. But then it was like 30.
Yeah, they
or
were
80
mostly
or something.
static.
Yeah.
And some of those TV's knobs were really hard to turn. I remember as a kid, like hurting your hand on them.
What about the power button where you had to pull it out or push it in? It was just like,
yeah,
chunk.
Yeah. It looked like the end of a golf tee, like just kind of came out bigger. Yep. One of the TVs I remember having when I was a kid was one of those that are in like the big wood cabinets, Huge television that has the cabinet, and I wonder whatever happened to that thing. Knowing my dad, it's ashes. He likes to burn shit.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling stories about him burning stuff.
Oh, I'm sure I'll have many more. We just need to let some days pass.
About the old black and white TVs, when you turn it off, there'd be that little white dot in the middle.
Did you?
Forever.
Okay. So when the TV would turn off and like the screen went down to that white dot, and then you wait for that white dot to fade away. When I was a kid, I thought that the whole screen was still playing the TV show just tiny. So I would rush up to that little white dot and then like just stare at it as hard as I could to see if I could still see fucking what's the show? Different Strokes. Willis and Arnold.
I still see you in there, Arnold.
Yeah. That was also the time that I thought if I turned the TV off whilst a show was on, the show would pause until I turned the TV back on. So
I think I did that before.
When I come home and find that Webster was already over and been over for a few hours, boy wasn't happy. Boy wasn't happy.
The day was ruined.
Truly.
Yeah. I just enjoyed rubbing my hand over the TV screen, get all the static, and then go zap somebody.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it would zap you.
I was just gonna say, unless you were unfortunate to get that zap first, but it
was mostly just me. But
man, those were the days.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you for being here to tell us about this. This has been a long time coming, and boy, did this turned out a fruitful episode. This was fun. I feel like we went through time really quick there. A lot of shit I haven't thought about.
Still working on the Canned Air related VHS tape.
Ooh, doggy.
Of that certain video from the past. Well, the two videos.
I would like to do more of those, but it's just such a risky thing now with the copyright. And
it's got to be possible. We just got to be able to find the right subject.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I reckon. But all right, well, again, send me some of the links. Send me the link to your whatnot and everything else that you want me to put in the episode. I'll throw it in there. But thank you, Josh, for being here again. And Jack, what have we on the website, sir?
Go to cannedairpodcast.com where you can listen, like, follow, subscribe, become a patron, buy some merch, follow us on all our social media, and if you'd like to be a guest and promote your work, send us an email on our contacts page.
And don't forget to find us on Twitter at CannedAirPod, on Instagram at canned_air, and on TikTok at CannedAirPodcast. It's all up here. I don't know why I'm repeating it. It's right there. I guess for the audio people, the audio format, right? And then, of course... and of course, cannedairpodcast.com, website Jack was just talking about. There's a Patreon link on there, or you can just go to patreon.com/cannedairpod. And there's also a link to our merch page. So, if t-shirts, hoodies, hats, stickers, mugs, that kind of stuff is your bag, go to the link on our website. Or just extra content, Patreon is where it's at. $5 a month. For a 4 or 5 year old catalog.
Yeah.
I never remember how old that shit is.
I gotta advocate. Go to the Patreon, guys. It's cool. If you want any kind of say, I mean, you already have a say in what you want to hear potentially if you go on social media. But if you go on the Patreon, you can ask these guys specific questions, and they will talk about what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to the show, you're like, God, I really wish they would talk more about Cheers or some other show. Just ask about it.
Probably
all
in
about
depth.
In depth
to nausea.
Yes. You will be nauseous at the end of it, but a good nauseous. Yeah.
Depending on the topic, yes, that could happen. But yes, the show
Highly
is for
recommend
you,
it.
the listener. We're your puppets. If you want to find out more about your boys, Patreon's where it's at. And if you don't have money to support us, just leave us a like, a review, a comment below. Hit that subscribe button, that like bell, or that like button and that little bell so you get those notifications. Yeah.
Yeah, smash him.
I feel dirty. And once again, the Evergreen Podcast Network that we've been a part of, I think, 3-4 years now. And they treat us pretty good over there. Love those guys. A lot of great shows on there. Check them out after you've checked us out. But I guess if you're hearing this at the end of the episode, they've already checked us out, right?
Yeah, you already won.
Listen to another episode.
You're in the club. You're in the
Maybe
club.
listen
Hang
to
out.
2 more of our episodes before you go check out anyone else.
Just to make sure.
That way we're ingrained by that point. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
All right. I've taken that farther than it should have gone. All right. So I think that's going to do it for this episode. So until next time, I am Jeremy Colley.
I'm Jack Doherty.
I'm Josh Bellis.
Back in his faces. He never disappoints. Never disappoints.
It hangs on me for so long.
Thank you so much for watching and listening, everyone. Be excellent to each other.